That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Good. Oh, look at you put the three of us. Oh, look at that. Three of us together.
Ooh.
All right. So are you
I'll
ready,
be
Chris?
out.
We are
Yep,
ready.
you guys
I
can
think we're
start.
live or officially live. There you go. All right. Well, welcome to Just Chilling, episode number 5 with Paul and Kaitlyn, a podcast where we talk about what is new and how to enjoy it. My co-host Kaitlyn. How are you, Kaitlyn?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. And Alkmini, how are you? Our guest for today.
Great. How are you guys?
Very good. Very good. Welcome. Thank you for being on. So
Happy to be here.
we're still here in the COVID-19 phase here in the New Jersey area. Things seem to be stabilizing a little bit, but I think it's obviously still pretty terrible situation that we're dealing with. And I think that the best thing that we all can do is stay inside, which you can see the three of us are doing that. So we're doing what we need to do to be safe and keeping busy as much as we can. The things that I've been involved with the last week here, I never thought I would clean certain areas of my house ever before. I know my wife has probably had them on a list for a long time. Dorothy has had them on a list, and finally the list is coming out. I've watched quite a bit of TV. I think I've seen so many different Netflix episodes, and then doing quite a bit of different things with social media with ChillRx, so keeping busy that way. Now, Kaitlyn, I know you've been busy. I've seen you have a new dog in the family. Is that right?
We do. My sister just got a new puppy, so that's really fun to make the time go by.
Yeah, I can imagine that's it. Now, there's a lot of good walks that you can go. Well, actually, the dog's probably too small for walks, right?
Yeah, she can't really go on walks yet, but you can play with her in the yard and stuff, and she runs around, which is really cute. She's tiny. She's like this big, like fits like right in your hand.
Oh wow! Because you sent me a picture, so it's that like so tiny.
Yeah, she looks bigger in the pictures, but she's actually not that big. She's only 5 pounds.
5 pounds. Is it how many?
Wow.
How old?
She's 8 weeks.
8 weeks. Yeah. So that's really young. Wow. Yeah. So that's really like doesn't know. Wow. You got to be really careful at 8 weeks. Now, when did you get your dog Bentley? At what age?
At 9 weeks.
So about the
back
same
in October.
time.
So he's 8 months now.
All right, and all right. So then, so now Bentley has a friend to cruise around Red Bank with, and go to parties and hang out all those dog games and everything.
Yep.
Do all the fun things. That's great. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, I don't think I have a dog in my future, but if I do, the dog style that your sister and you have, I think, are on the top of the list if that ever comes down the line. But it's definitely a good dog. And Alkmini, our guest for today. Alkmini, you are our 5th guest on Just Chilling, which is you may not know this, but it's a tremendous honor. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
to be the 5th guest. I was thinking about this when I was putting this together. I said, there's only going to be 9 single-digit guests on Just Chilling, and you're the 5th guest. So
golden 5.
Yeah, so we get to, it's like the New York Yankees. You have a single-digit number. There's only going to be so many of those numbers that are going to be given out. And you have one of them. So that's a tremendous honor. And also your project that you're working on is tremendous. And that's one of the reasons that we wanted to invite you in. Kaitlyn, why don't you want to go into it without me?
Yeah. So you've been making masks, right? I saw them on your Instagram story.
Yeah.
So are they all the same pattern? Is that what it is? Or are you making different patterns? I know some people make like a bunch of different ones.
Yep. So because my initiative started with targeting Red Bank businesses specifically, a couple of factors came into play when I was looking for fabric. So one, I wanted to find something that obviously had Red Bank red. And then what I could get quickly, because the materials are very hard to get right now because a lot of people are joining this initiative to DIY masks. Things are sold out. Things are not shipping quickly at all. Everyone's experiencing with Amazon being delayed right now as well. So I wanted to find something that was available in bulk. I could get a lot of it. And that was also cost effective. So this particular fabric was on sale. I could get, unlimited quantity, and it came to me within like 4 days of ordering it. So The front is a flowery pattern. And then the back, I'm using another red pattern that I found, which is a little bit more subtle. But,
I like
yeah.
that. That's cute. So is that where you got all your materials from? Amazon? Is that?
Yeah, most of them. So, I mean, I didn't even have a sewing machine when I decided that I was going to make masks. So I not only had to research where to get fabric, what kind of fabric was best for a DIY mask. I had to, get the material for the straps and the thread and all that. I had to do research on sewing machines because I've never even sewed by hand before. Like, my husband sews on buttons because he knows how to do the sewing, not me. So I literally started from scratch with everything. And so, yeah, most of the stuff came from Amazon. I started doing the research and looking for supplies about a week and a half ago. So at that point in time, things were still, shipping relatively soon. So I got everything within 4 to 5 days. Every day that goes by, things are delayed even longer. So the more I can get now, the better to keep producing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you taught yourself completely how to make those. So I've been wondering, a lot of people are making them. Like, do they already know how to use a sewing machine? Because I couldn't do that.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because my husband came down and he was watching me make one mask the other night on the machine. And he was just like, how long it took me to learn in an entire semester of home ec in high school how to do like one stitch on the machine. And it's like, you did it in one day. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's so cool though that you're doing that. And you're donating them to all places in Red Bank, or is it more? I saw on your Instagram story it was like a certain number of masks you had dated so far or gave out so far, and then how many you had, orders you had.
Yes. So it's starting, like I said before, it was the initiative started with wanting to support my fellow business owners in Red Bank. A lot of DIY mask people are donating to the front lines, hospitals, nurses, doctors, which is great. But they're not medical grade. So I was, in doing my research, I was just reading a lot about like what hospitals are accepting. So it was just kind of setting me back in my mind of just producing and getting them out there. So I, started from scratch again with my thought process. And I was just like, why don't I give these to people who are still going out there and providing a service, still going into their storefronts with their, even though it's a limited number of employees, you're still around people who are then going home to their family members who may also still be going to their place of business. So why not try to protect us all who are still out there? Because the less people that will test positive and be in those hospitals to begin with, the better it'll all get, you know what I mean? The whole situation will start to flatten the curve. So it started to expand a little bit further from the Red Bank business community, just from word of mouth, seeing on social media. I've gotten some, DMs from people that I don't even know, from seeing my masks on someone else's story and just asking, can I buy some from you? Because even there are people popping up on Etsy and different corporate companies that are now selling masks with this exact material. And I don't want to charge for them because I didn't start out this project to make a profit. I started it to just help my community. So when people ask me, can I buy a mask from you? My Etsy order is delayed or it got canceled or I can't find any and I just want to go to ShopRite. I tell them, just tell me how many you need, what sizes, and I'll make them for you. And they insist on wanting to pay for them. So I'll then say, you want to make a donation? Here's my Venmo. It's totally up to you, whatever you would like to contribute. And it goes 100% towards supplies so I can keep it going.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you're doing this.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think it's now how many masks have you made so far?
As of yesterday, I have 200 masks delivered to people. And I have about 170 that I'm still producing to get out. That's current requests as of today. So new requests come in every single day. And some people ask for 2 masks just for them and their spouse. Some ask for 5 for them and, their whoever else is in their household or their employees who are still going to work. And I've had other orders come in where it's upwards of 15 to 25 in a batch, because they want to then mail them out to people that they have in their family who are nurses and just to give them some backup supplies. So those people are ordering in bigger bulk. So what I'm trying to do is I'm a planner, so I have spreadsheets. So every time someone puts in a request. I add them to my list. I try to prioritize in the order that I receive requests so that it just makes it fair for everyone to get their order on time and not get delayed.
And how long does it take to make a mask?
So all from start to finish, one mask. If I cut the fabric, cut the straps to size, if I prep my materials per mask, it can take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes per mask. But what I like to do is spend time prepping all the materials. So I'll spend like 30 minutes cutting up stacks of fabric. And then I'll spend, another 20 minutes prepping all of the straps. So right now, what I've been using, because what I should be using is 1/4 inch sewing elastic, but it's not available. I can't even find it on Amazon that will ship to me in enough time for me to keep producing these. I do have an order that's pending for a bunch of spools, which I got an update today. It's supposed to be here next Tuesday. So until then, I have to make do with what I have. So what I decided to use were women's elastic headbands that I could just find at Walgreens or CVS, and cutting them up, cutting them down to size, depending on what size I want the mask to be. So I'll prep all that. And then once I have all my materials cut, it can take 5 to 8 minutes per mask to sew it up.
Okay, that's not too bad. And now they're saying you have to wear masks to go into stores. So these are really high in demand now.
Yeah. I kind of figured that was going to be the case before they suggested it or required it now to go to the stores, which is why I wanted to jump on this initiative to get these out there, because I just knew it was inevitable. And I don't think that it's something that's going to change for a long time. I think that the advice will remain even when we are able to start getting back to normal, whatever that means, because I also think that nothing's going to be the same ever again. I think we're going to be living in a totally changed world. I think the advice is going to remain for quite some time to continue to wear a mask when you are in a public place where it's, crowded or whatnot.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't know what the normal would be after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that that there'll probably be guidance. I think, maybe as you go to bigger groups, larger venues and such, that everybody wears a mask in some regard, I think. And I think you were definitely ahead of the curve on it, because I was on the RBBA call when you first announced what you were doing, and it was probably about a week or so before the CDC. So maybe they were listening too. I'm not sure, and said, this is the right thing to do, because I think you use the words, something better than nothing, and I think that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah,
is to I think it's got to protect you in some way, something coming towards you or something going from you, and then it's just a good reminder that there's something going on, to not touch your face, to just get in the habit of being more careful with this while these types of things are going on. So
that's the biggest thing for me, is like I didn't realize before how much I just constantly touched my face, just getting a piece of hair out of the way, or if my contact is bothering me, just quickly fix it. And I don't do that anymore when I'm wearing my mask. Like once my hand starts to move up to my face, and I just immediately stop because I'm wearing my mask.
Yeah, no,
I do the same thing. I realize that how many times I touch my face.
Yeah.
And I did the other kind of fun thing about it. If there's any of this is fun, but the your iPhone facial recognition doesn't work with a mask on.
Oh yeah, you know what? I did have to pull it down a little bit from my nose the other day when I was in the car. Yeah, you're right.
I noticed that the other day as I went out with a mask on, and I was like, wait a minute, I have to keep typing in my password, and I'm like, well, it's probably good that if somebody steals my phone, when they're wearing a mask, then they wouldn't be able to get on my phone, but provided they looked like me. But so that's a tremendous thing. Now you've given out about 200 masks. What you probably have some good stories of people that you gave the masks to, or?
Not really stories per se that stick out, but I've gotten such great feedback. People have donated like I said before, I'm not charging for them, but people are just wanting to be so generous and supporting me and the labor that I'm putting into this. So, those funds are definitely helping to keep this going with, continuing to get more supplies, because the headbands, for example, do get pricey. And I need a lot to produce the quantity that I'm producing. And even the stores are running out of supplies. I think I've hit up every single Walgreens in Middletown and Red Bank in the last 2 days. And I've taken all their stock. But I've had some people call me the mask goddess and thank you so much. And just really, really great feedback from everyone.
Mask goddess. That's I
Yeah.
like that. That might be.
I like, the funniest part is seeing guys like George and Charlie and Tasso, who own Bistro Antique, wearing the floral masks and just taking pictures and posting them on social media. It's awesome.
Yeah, I saw those too. That was fun. They're having some fun with it, and and also help their teams being. I know they're doing takeout and such like that, so they have a lot of people coming in. To the stores, so that kind of mask definitely helps them out a lot, I think, with that.
Yeah, so. They're running outside to give someone their food to their car, or if someone is making a delivery from their boutique, for clothing or whatever that people are buying from Instagram and their websites now. Even though you're doing a doorstep drop off, you should still wear a mask. You're out. You could be getting out of your car, crossing the street, getting onto the sidewalk to go bring that package. And then here comes somebody who's, just walking down the street and you encounter them. So you just have to be conscious of even stuff like that. I know it's 2 seconds. I know that we're out, in the fresh air, but we don't know enough about this to make the determination of what's okay and what's not.
Yeah, I agree. I think that typically when like with the flu or with other ailments, there's so much research that goes on with the particular virus or cold or whatever it is, and or disease. But with this, it's literally only been around since December, January, depending upon who you talk to. So it's there's very little time for research on it, and they don't know. There's new stuff coming out every day as to how to handle it and what to do. And that's what we're doing with ChillRx. I was on a call this morning, like an international cryotherapy call, believe it or not. And people were talking about how to handle the new world order with cryotherapy, and how to space clients out to make sure that we have the social distancing rules and things. So it's, it's going to, like you said, it's going to affect every single industry in a different way. The first 2 or 3 months when we open, and all the way through till you get into 6 months away, there'll definitely be some changes and phases that'll go through. So
definitely.
So do you think did you have to order some more cloth, or do you have enough did you have like a huge amount of cloth?
So far, what I bought a week and a half ago, I'm still going strong. Over there on my washer and dryer are still more just yards and yards of fabric of the 2 red patterns that I got that I haven't even dipped into yet. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good on the fabric. It's just the elastic that is the issue, but I do have a backup plan. If I run through the elastic headbands that I have today, I'm going to go out one more time and see what I can find. And if it's slim picking still, then for the next few days, I'll be producing masks with ribbon instead. Being an event planner and crafting, I have a ton of ribbon, and I'm thankful that I have it all here in my basement at home and not at the office right now. So I don't have to go anywhere to get it. But I can make the mask so that it has the ribbon instead of going behind the ears. You can tie it behind the back of your head and neck, just like a surgeon's mask. So at least that will help me to get through more orders and not have people waiting the next few days until the elastic comes in.
That's great. That's great. I'm sure. So if people, like you said, they're DMing you and calling you, and it's just probably just a full, once they hear about this. Now, did you have it on your social media?
Yep.
You have it on RBBA, I think. So it's really kind of all throughout the Monmouth County area. It's people are interested. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be just mailing some. So my family lives in Bergen County. So my dad called me the other day and he was like, I need a mask. I need to go to ShopRite. I'm like, okay, I'll send you a mask. Greek.
What accent is that you
That
just
was
used there?
Greek.
It's Greek.
Anytime I talk about him, I speak like him. It's just impossible
Ah.
for me to not do.
That's funny.
That's funny. That's good. That's good. So I guess during the you said you're an event planner, so you're more than an event planner. I would say you own a company for the love of details, right? Is that
Yep.
right?
Yep, that's
And
correct.
how long have you owned this company?
So it is officially, we'll be at our 3-year anniversary next week, the 18th. But I had started it about a year or two before that, just starting to do stuff for friends and family. I had the name of the company. I started the Instagram just to start documenting things that I was doing. And then I officially registered the business about a year and a half to 2 years after I started doing projects. Yeah, so it's like almost 5 years now.
Wow. So what are the events that you mostly do?
So we do weddings, a lot of weddings and a lot of showers we get for baby showers, bridal showers, birthdays, but it's really any excuse for a party. We've done Halloween balls, just anything fun.
Uh-huh.
That's neat. Halloween balls. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
That must be
Yeah,
cool to do or fun to do.
Yes, definitely. Because I like to get creative. But we do the planning side of it and design decor. So it's not just planning the design decor, but we have a lot of rentals in our inventory. I handcraft, I get stuff custom built for clients. So it's basically making their Pinterest dreams come true, essentially. So it's for the person who, sees all this cool stuff on Instagram and Pinterest and either doesn't have the time to make it all or, have it all come together, or doesn't know where to start. Someone who's not organized, who's not crafty, sees a picture and it's just like, how would I ever be able to make that? And that's a skill that I have, is I can figure it out. And it's little to no ramp up time for me to just figure out what materials to use, stuff that's very cost effective. I'm always shopping around to make sure that, it stays cost effective for clients. And then I can turn things around quicker, which is what helped me to ramp up with making masks so quickly. So I just saw it and I said, well, why can't I make that? And just figure it out.
I've seen your Instagram. I mean, you've made like my Pinterest dreams come true.
Oh.
So
Thank you.
No, that's I think so. So what is the biggest event that you've done? Like a wedding is probably the biggest event, or is a birthday party, or?
Yeah, I mean, some birthday parties can get pretty big in terms of, the level production with balloon walls and dessert tables and entertainment and all that. But yes, and weddings on all different scales, again, depending on guest count and what we are bringing in from other vendors. If it's big flower walls and, dance floor wraps with decals and all that stuff. And other weddings are simpler with not as many moving pieces, but still, any wedding on any scale does take a lot of thought to execute on the day of, especially, it's one of the biggest packages that we get booked for wedding planning is a day of coordinator, someone who's there from the time you're in hair and makeup until the end of the wedding, assisting and making sure it all runs smoothly. But yeah, the Halloween ball that we did last October for one of our clients was a big wedding level event, because it was, almost 200 people invited. And it was at their house, and it was catering. It was big bar rentals, lounge furniture rentals coming in. The tent enclosed their entire backyard, and it took 5 days to install. So it wasn't like one of those just century pole pop-up tents. It was a structure, band and DJ and staff passing cocktails around dressed in costume. Like it was just a lot. So, and all the decor and stuff, but yeah.
Well, I would imagine all the guests were probably in costumes too. I mean, I've been to Halloween parties and you kind of, oh yeah, I'm going to wear a funny shirt, but that's not what happened at this, it sounds like.
Yeah, no,
That
I
sounds like
was
a
in
really
full
extravagant.
costume. Yeah, we had a hair and makeup team. I had half of my face was a skull, the other half was in glam makeup. My events manager had the same thing. So our client, was just, she wanted to go all out, and having everyone in costume was a requirement, which
Wow.
made it awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That is so 200 people, big tent. Now,
Mhm.
are you the single point of contact for these events, or are you the like how do you work the actual project with the client? Do you have
Yeah,
several
when we
people that they work with, or
um so depending on what the client's needs are, we have certain buckets of planning packages depending on what level of support that they want throughout the planning. This particular event was sort of like an unlimited planning, so we did everything. Our client wanted to just communicate everything to us, and then we were the central point of contact between the client and every other vendor, like music, food,
Mhm.
alcohol, rentals, entertainment, and everything. And then we would loop the client in to conversations as needed. There are other events where we are customizing a planning package for them, and they're taking certain things on their own, and they're delegating other planning tasks to us. So it just really depends on who the client is, what they need from us, what type of event is it, what's all going on, and then we figure it out from there.
Yeah, I would imagine maybe the client is, maybe they know a DJ, or they could be a
Hmm.
DJ
Yeah.
themselves, or
Yep.
have a friend that's a photographer, so those things get handled, and
Yeah.
then you do
Even
everything else. Yeah.
even when they do book certain vendors like that on their own, like we will then at some point take over communications for them. We'll eventually become the central link down the line, because on the day of their event,
Yeah.
they don't want to worry about coordinating anything or putting out any fires, because it's inevitable. Something's going to go wrong with something. With any event, at some point in time, we do become the central link between the client and all of their vendors that on the day of, we're just running the show for them, and they can just enjoy and not have to worry.
Yeah, it must be great. That must be great to because I've planned several parties over my lifetime, both starting with my wedding and all the way through,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been kind of the person that does all the details, and yeah, it's a tremendous amount of work,
Yeah.
because there's, even as an event continues on or goes on, there's always something that comes up. What about this? Where is
Yeah.
this? Why didn't you do that? Or you don't have
Mm-hmm.
enough of this. And if you want to be a host that just wants to enjoy it and go around and circulate around to all your different guests that you have, you need to have somebody to run the whole event and do all the details and be the point
Yep.
of contact through the event. So that's
Yeah.
now the best way to find you is probably on your Instagram. You're probably on your Instagram every day, right? Looking for
Try
clients.
to.
Yeah. Where do
Try
you get
to. Try.
most of your leads from? Are they from?
It's actually, so social media, I would say that's the second. The first is referrals.
Okay.
So, like people we know personally, friends, family, clients from the past. You always want to use a vendor or buy something from somewhere where you've gotten good feedback from someone you know. So most of our clients come from referrals. We have really great partnerships with some really great venues in the area. We do a lot of work at Molly Pitcher and Oyster Point. So we do get a lot of referrals from venues that we have already done a lot of events at in the
Gotcha.
past, because they know us, they know our work. So when they have a client, mom books a bridal shower and says, well, I want, a pretty chair rental, and I want a dessert table, and I don't know where to get this stuff. And we
Yeah,
know
they're like, well,
someone.
wait a minute. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
call some of the experts in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
yeah,
I would
that's
say social media is a really great place too, because I mean, I've never paid for an ad before. So it is just from what I'm posting and doing in story. I do a lot of tagging. So I will tag the venue that event was at, because then it'll show up in their tagged photos, and what clients are doing, especially brides. Once they book their place, they're surfing that entire feed, and then they're going and looking at the tagged photos to see what's been done there before, what vendors
yeah.
have worked there before, what inspiration ideas of things that were designed and decorated in that room, because they can't visualize certain things. So they want to get some, jumpstart the creativity. So, yeah, just some strategies.
No, I think
simple
that's
strategies.
we had, Kaitlyn works with me on our social media with Chill, and we find that too is not number one is referrals. It's getting clients back, and number two is social media. But what I find is that they work hand in hand. That those referred clients, when they hear about it through a friend or at an event or something like that, they're going to go to your social media and check it out and
Yep.
and see how many followers do you have? Do you what are some good events that you've done before in your example, or the therapies that the different treatments that we have
Yep.
at ChillerX. So having Kaitlyn does a great job with it. Having a very professional and well thought out makes a huge difference. And so it's free advertising in a way, because you don't have to pay a magazine or something to put something up at one snapshot of a particular an issue or something like that, or a newspaper or something. It's there all the time, sitting there, and there's hundreds of pictures that are there that they can look through. They can see who's tagged you too, and I'm sure I didn't check that out on yours, but there's quite a bit of that goes on with it. So that's incredible. So you have now your business is transitioning. I've heard you on your call, like you're booking out into the future, I would imagine, for these events, right?
Well, if I'm being quite honest, there's nothing booking right now.
Oh, really?
That is just the reality of the event world. What we're focusing on right now is the clients that we have for 2020. We've already had some things postponed. I'm now getting into the space where even those postponements are going to have to be postponed again, because some things that we had in March were moved to June, and now I'm just not so sure that that's even going to happen. So what I'm doing is proactively having conversations with all of our clients, no matter what their event date is. If you're in 2020, we're talking to you about a backup plan just in case. I have weddings in October and November. And most people are like, oh, we're going to be totally fine by then, but we just don't know. And I'm someone that likes to be as proactive as possible. And there's no harm in having a conversation. Is it going to maybe stress you out a little bit to think about it? Yes, but it's going to stress you out even more if we get to that place and we haven't started discussing things in advance. And I think that people will be in a much better headspace when we get closer to their events and we have to move it than, by talking about it now, than if we just ignore it. So we're talking to everybody about, has your venue contacted you? Have they said anything? Have any of your other vendors contacted you? Because I want to know what other conversations are happening to make sure that we're staying in the loop for our clients. And we're just going to take it day by day and continue to plan these events that we already have scheduled, but much more cautiously. So with any new vendors that we have to book, like weddings in September, we're looking at florists and we're going to print on invitations soon. So what are the things that we can do right now to help alleviate a fire that will come up later on if we do have to postpone even September events? Can we make sure with vendors that they're not going to have, postponement or rescheduling fees to help the client? What can we do with the invitation? Can we add certain language, in the event that this has to be postponed, give us this information so we can give you the new date electronically instead of reprinting a whole new set of invitations, or scrambling to find email addresses at the last minute to let everyone know. In terms of 2021, I think that this whole situation is affecting bookings right now, even for next year, because people are in a financial situation at the moment. So many people are not working. And that is putting, a big strain on everyone. So they're kind of just holding off, especially for planners, because what the reality is that what it's going to come down to is they're going to, if they want to book things for their 2021 wedding right now, and they're strapped for money because of the situation, they're going to book their essentials first. And unfortunately, a planner is just one of the people that is not at the top of most people's minds because they have never had a wedding before. So they don't know exactly how the day is going to go, being the ones getting married. So they often don't see the value until the wedding actually happens. And they're just like, I'm so glad we hired you.
Yeah.
So it's challenging.
And what about the venues too? Because the venues are probably booked up out, like if you're in June and you want to plan in September, the venue might be booked already with something, right?
Yeah.
So there's this limited capacity of a lot of these things too. Yeah.
Yep. It depends on the location of the venue. It depends on the style of the venue. Most traditional catering hall type venues in this area, most are getting booked, have already been starting to get booked up for 2021, or even for dates later this year. So trying to find, I think what they're doing is prioritizing first. If your wedding was in April, we're going to handle you first. Any May, June, July, you'll have to wait. So they're taking each month of clients as priority. And so I think all of the ones for me, April, May that had to be postponed, if they didn't get a date for later in the summer, they were able to. I know one got like a New Year's Eve wedding that was moved from March. So it's stuff like that, just, finding dates that weren't initially popular before this situation. They're also moving to weekdays, a lot of them, because they are booked Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're finding a lot of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday weddings. Then there are other venues who are not yet booked for the 2021 traditional wedding season. So it's easier for, people to just completely push to next year on a weekend date in the month that they had initially wanted. And then other venues, it's even more challenging because some places are open just seasonally. They're only open from May to October. So yeah, I think we're going to see weddings 7 days a week.
Yeah, I think if they want to get married this year for whatever reason, and that's what's going to happen. I think that's just going to be the case. And wow. Well, it sounds as I would have thought. You are definitely on top of it completely. So, when I first met you at an RBBA meeting, I said, "All right, she's got her act together." So. It was. I'm glad we're getting to know each other more, and I know that you've been to ChillRx Cryotherapy, and the first time you went, or maybe it wasn't the first time, but one time you went, I wasn't invited because it was a Galentine's event.
Girls' Day,
right? Yeah, it was. So I wasn't invited. I did tell Kaitlyn and Maura and Nicole that I will be in the area if you need me, but I will not be there.
Yeah. Well, that was the first time that I actually came there for a service, but I had actually tried the 6-minute cryo facial. You guys were at an event that Maria, owner of the Hot Maven, was doing. And my office is downstairs from the Hot Maven, so it was super convenient to come up and join in on the fun. But yeah, you were doing like sample ones. So I had tested it there. And then work. And then I see the post about Galentine's Day, and actually my events manager, Whitney, and I had a big photo shoot that we were doing on Valentine's Day. Or was it was actually Valentine's Day that day, or no? It was a Thursday that you guys, the Thursday before it or something like that?
Day before, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, they're having a girls' night. Why don't we go after the photo shoot and treat ourselves? And she was like, yeah, all about it. So yeah, that's when we came in and did the service there. And I have since booked service after service. So I can't wait to get back.
Well, good. Well, thank you very much. That's I'm glad that you're a client and that you're enjoying yourself there. That's that's what we I think, and you probably the same way, and Kaitlyn too, is just the interaction with our clients is what's so much fun. Is, hearing those stories, like you're going out with your girlfriend and having a fun time, and how good you feel after you come out of cryotherapy. That's what it's all about. And when you finish your event, you have a 200-person Halloween event. I could just imagine the emails and calls you got after that, which is just amazing. Like, I can't believe it. It was so much fun. And that's what you miss from all of this. So
definitely.
We're really hoping that this it comes back as quickly and safely as we possibly can, and and get us back to what we love doing, and being getting to know our clients better and then having fun out there. That's what it's all about. So,
Yeah.
but
I'm sure when this does go back to normal, you're gonna have a lot of calls of people being like, "I need to have the biggest party."
Yes,
that's
with
true.
everyone.
That's
I
true.
actually started a hashtag like a week ago. I've just been on like mask focus in my stories, but I was posting some stuff about a week ago, and I was using the hashtag that I came up with, Corona free, come party with me.
Corona. All right.
Because that's all
like
that I was
that.
thinking about. It's like, when this is over and we can actually have an event, who wants to party?
There you go. I like that. That's
Yeah.
that's a great Corona free. Come party with me. That's a great
Yeah.
way to end our 5th episode here. I think there's a wrap of Just Chillin' number 5. Thank you very much, Kaitlyn. I appreciate you participating in Alkmini. It was great to get to know you better. Like I said, when I first met you, I said, all right, she's got her act together. I'm gonna got to get to know her better, and we hope to see you very soon in Red Bank. I'm sure we'll be on. There's a RBBA call each week, and we have always have great guests on that. So. And everybody that's signing on here, please follow Alkmini on her website for the love of details, and her Instagram for the love of details. You can find her there. When you want to plan your post-Corona party, she is the one to go to. Kaitlyn, you really, you might be in her marketing department soon too. There you go. I like it. So, well, good. Well, thank you both very much for signing off, and we'll talk to you both soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Chris?